Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. Your pain, your struggles, and the challenges you face are not meaningless or random. They are divine tools of preparation, refining your spirit, strengthening your character, and readying you for the greatness that awaits. Pain is not a setback. It is a setup for what God is about to do in and through your life. In this message, we will explore 7 powerful chapters to help you understand why your pain is proof you're being prepared for greatness. Each chapter will reveal truths to encourage, empower, and transform your perspective so you can embrace your journey with faith and hope. Before we dive in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because this message isn't just content. It's a divine confirmation for the chosen ones. A heartfelt thank you to everyone supporting through Super Thanks. God bless you richly. Your faithfulness, your presence, and your unwavering support do not go unnoticed. To all of you who watch, listen, and align, I'm truly grateful. If your spirit resonates with this frequency, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a sacred signal to the Most High and the universe that you're ready. Ready to understand that your pain is not in vain, but proof that you're being prepared for greatness. Not everyone will make it through this message, only the truly chosen. Those who stay will gain clarity, deeper awareness, and spiritual insight into how every struggle and hardship is shaping their destiny. This isn't something you listen to once and forget. This is a living word, a spiritual blueprint unfolding layer by layer. Watch it again whenever your spirit calls you to, because each time a new revelation about your pain and purpose will come alive. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Pain builds resilience and strength. Pain is often misunderstood as a setback or a curse. But for the chosen one, pain is the furnace in which resilience is forged and true strength is developed. Just as gold must pass through intense fire to be purified and shine brilliantly, your spirit must endure hardship to remove impurities such as fear, doubt, and weakness. These trials are not meant to break you, but to refine you into the powerful vessel God intends you to be. When you face pain, whether it is emotional, physical, or spiritual, it tests the limits of your endurance. It forces you to dig deeper, to find strength you didn't know you had. Each trial you overcome adds a layer of resilience, making you stronger and more capable. This resilience is a divine gift built through suffering, but essential for walking into the greater purpose that God has planned for you. Endurance is not developed in comfort zones. It grows in the valleys of pain and struggle. The challenges you encounter stretch your faith and character, preparing you for responsibilities and blessings that require more than ordinary strength. God's plan for your life involves carrying heavier burdens, leading others, and standing firm in adversity. Without the seasoning of pain, your greatness would be fragile, easily shaken by the storms of life. Pain also acts as a teacher. It reveals hidden weaknesses and areas in your spirit that need growth. When you embrace pain instead of resisting it, you allow God to work deeply within you, transforming your weaknesses into strengths. It's in these moments that you learn perseverance, patience, and the ability to rise after every fall. These qualities become the foundation of your
spiritual and personal greatness. Moreover, pain connects you to others on a deeper level. The resilience built through your own suffering equips you to empathize and encourage those who are going through their own battles. Your strength becomes a beacon of hope for others, proving that pain can be a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. It's important to remember that pain is temporary, but the strength it produces is lasting. Each painful experience is like a weight lifted in training, making you stronger for what lies ahead. God allows these seasons of testing not to harm you, but to prepare you for an extraordinary destiny. So when you face pain, don't shy away from it or let it defeat you. Recognize it as a sacred process, an intentional work by God to build endurance, character, and unwavering strength within you. Your pain is not the end of your story. It is the forge that prepares you to rise in greatness and fulfill the divine purpose for which you were created. Chapter 2.
Pain deepens your faith and trust in God. Pain has a unique way of stripping away all illusions of self-sufficiency and forcing you to lean on something far greater than yourself. When you walk through seasons of hardship, you quickly realize that your own strength, resources, and understanding are not enough to carry you through. It is in these moments of brokenness and vulnerability that faith is born, tested, and ultimately strengthened. Pain drives you into the arms of God, compelling you to seek Him with greater
urgency and sincerity. Suddenly, prayer is no longer a routine. It becomes your lifeline. Your cries become more honest, your worship more heartfelt, and your trust in God deepens beyond what you thought possible. You discover that His grace is not only present, but sufficient, able to meet you exactly where you are, no matter how difficult the trial. This deepening of faith is not just about endurance, it's about transformation. Through pain, your perspective shifts. You begin to see your circumstances through the eyes of God rather than through fear or despair. You learn to surrender control, trusting that God's plan is higher and wiser than your own. This spiritual intimacy forms a foundation that no circumstance can shake because it is rooted in the unchanging nature of God's love and faithfulness. Pain teaches you that faith is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of God in the midst of it. It helps you realize that trusting God does not mean your problems will disappear instantly, but that you will not be overwhelmed by them. Instead, you stand firm, anchored in the assurance that God is working all things together for your good, even when the outcome is not yet clear. As your faith deepens through pain, you become equipped to walk boldly into your divine calling. You are no longer afraid to face challenges because you know that God has already prepared you through every hardship. Your trust becomes a testimony, proof that God's grace can carry you through every storm, every disappointment, and every heartbreak. Moreover, this growing trust inspires others around you. Your faith in pain becomes a beacon of hope for those struggling in their own battles. It demonstrates that God is faithful, that He never abandons His chosen, and that through Him, victory is always possible. Remember, the pain you endure today is not wasted. It is a sacred invitation to deepen your relationship with God. Each tear, each moment of despair, and each struggle is a stepping stone to greater faith and trust. The more you lean into God in your pain, the stronger your foundation becomes, making you ready to receive the fullness of your destiny. So, when pain knocks on your door, welcome it as a divine teacher that draws you closer to God. Let it refine your faith, deepen your trust, and prepare you to fulfill the great purpose God has set before you. Chapter 3. Pain shapes your character and humility. Greatness is far more than just accomplishments, titles, or achievements. True greatness is about the person you become through your journey, the inner transformation that shapes your character, molds your heart, and aligns your spirit with God's purpose. Pain plays a crucial role in this process. It is the divine sculptor's tool, shaping you into a person of depth, integrity, and humility. When you endure pain, you are forced to confront parts of yourself that comfort and success often hide. Pain teaches patience, the ability to wait on God's timing without giving up or growing bitter. It softens your heart by breaking down pride, revealing your true dependence on God's strength rather than your own. This humility is not weakness. It is the foundation for lasting influence and leadership because it keeps you grounded and approachable. Through suffering, you learn empathy, the ability to truly understand and feel the struggles of others. Your own wounds become windows that open your heart wider, making you more compassionate and sensitive to the needs of those around you. This empathy is a powerful quality for anyone called to lead, minister, or inspire because it builds authentic connections and trust. Pain also strips away pretenses and false confidence. It humbles you by reminding you that you are human, vulnerable, limited, and in need of God's guidance every step of the way. This humility fosters dependence on God's wisdom and strength, helping you avoid the pitfalls of arrogance or self-reliance that can derail even the most gifted individuals. As you walk through pain, your character is tested and refined. You develop perseverance and integrity because you learn to choose faithfulness over convenience, kindness over anger, and grace over bitterness, even when it's hard. These qualities distinguish true greatness from superficial success. Moreover, humility shaped by pain enables you to lead with grace. It equips you to handle criticism, rejection, and setbacks without losing your peace or your purpose. When you understand your own brokenness and God's mercy, you become more forgiving and patient with others, creating an environment where people feel safe, valued, and inspired to grow. Pain also prepares you for leadership by teaching you valuable lessons in vulnerability and authenticity. You realize that showing your struggles doesn't diminish your influence, it enhances it. People are drawn to leaders who are real, who have faced challenges and emerged stronger, and who can speak to life's difficulties with wisdom and hope. In the end, the humility and character forged by pain become your greatest assets. They allow you to step into your divine calling, not just as a figure of authority, but as a servant leader, someone who leads by example, carries others, and honors God in every decision. So when pain comes, don't resist its lessons. Embrace it as God's refining fire that shapes your character and humbles your heart. This process is essential because the greatness God has destined for you requires more than skills or ambition. It demands a transformed spirit that can lead with humility, compassion, and unwavering faith. Chapter 4. Pain reveals your purpose and ignites your passion. Pain is more than just suffering. It is a divine spotlight that shines on your life's true purpose. When you go through hardship, the distractions and false hopes that once consumed your mind begin to fade away. Pain has a way of stripping down the superficial and revealing what really matters deep within your heart. It cuts through the noise of the world and clarifies God's calling for your life. In moments of pain, you gain clarity. You start to see your life and your dreams in sharper focus. The pain highlights areas where you have been settling for less or chasing things that don't fulfill your soul. It brings into sharp relief the passions and desires God planted within you before you were even born. This revelation is a gift, a divine wake-up call that your suffering is not random but purposeful. Pain also ignites a fire within you, a relentless passion to pursue your God-given calling. It awakens a determination that refuses to be quenched even in the face of obstacles, setbacks, and opposition. Your pain fuels your motivation to keep moving forward because you understand that your journey has meaning beyond the immediate struggles. It gives you the courage to fight for the vision God has placed in your heart, knowing that every hardship is part of a greater plan. This fire born from pain pushes you beyond comfort zones. It challenges you to rise above fear, doubt, and discouragement. Pain becomes the fuel for persistence, resilience, and creative breakthroughs. When you feel like giving up, that burning passion reminds you why you started and why it's worth pressing on. Pain also aligns you with God's purpose by teaching you valuable lessons about sacrifice, perseverance, and faithfulness. It reveals that the path to greatness often involves struggle, and that your suffering is not in vain, but a necessary part of your preparation. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your resolve and equips you with the wisdom and experience needed to lead others and fulfill your destiny. Moreover, the passion ignited by pain is contagious. It inspires others who see your unwavering commitment despite difficulties. Your testimony of purpose-driven perseverance becomes a beacon of hope, encouraging others to find and pursue their own callings with courage and faith. Remember, the pain you experience today is not just a burden to bear. It is a catalyst for transformation. It is God's way of revealing your true purpose and fueling the passion that will carry you through every trial ahead. When you embrace your pain as a teacher and motivator, you unlock a divine power within you that propels you toward greatness. So when pain comes, welcome it as the spotlight that reveals your destiny and the fire that fuels your passion. Let it motivate you to pursue your calling with relentless determination, knowing that your suffering is part of a divine plan to shape you into the person God created you to be. Chapter 5. Pain builds empathy and compassion for others. One of the most profound blessings that comes from enduring pain is the growth of empathy and compassion within your heart. When you have personally walked through seasons of suffering, disappointment, or loss, you gain a unique ability to understand and connect with the struggles of others. This lived experience creates a deep well of compassion that enables you to comfort, encourage, and lead those who face similar battles. Pain softens your heart and opens your eyes to the reality of human fragility. You become more sensitive to the invisible wounds others carry, recognizing pain even when it is hidden behind smiles or silence. This heightened awareness allows you to respond with kindness and grace rather than judgment or indifference. Your own journey through hardship gives you a perspective that transcends mere sympathy. It becomes true empathy, the ability to feel alongside another person and walk with them in their pain. Because of your experiences, you are uniquely equipped to be a vessel of God's love and healing. Your wounds, once sources of pain, are transformed into powerful windows of hope. When you share your story of overcoming, you light a path for others who are still struggling in the dark. Your testimony becomes a living proof that pain does not have the final word. Healing, restoration, and victory are possible. This compassionate heart that grows through pain is a defining mark of true greatness. Greatness is not measured solely by accomplishments or status, but by the ability to uplift others, to lead with a servant's heart, and to be a source of comfort in times of trouble. Leaders who have endured suffering are often the most effective because they lead not from a place of superiority, but from a place of shared experience and genuine care. Empathy born from pain also helps break down walls and build bridges between people. It fosters understanding in communities, families, and even nations. When you have been hurt, you understand the power of forgiveness, the need for patience, and the value of unconditional love. These qualities make you a catalyst for healing and unity wherever you go. Furthermore, the compassion you develop through your pain empowers you to intercede for others in prayer with greater sincerity and power. You know what it means to wrestle with God in the valley of hardship. So you pray with a heart full of understanding and fervency. Your intercession becomes a lifeline for those who cannot yet find their own voice. Remember, your pain was never meant to isolate you, but to connect you, to build a heart that beats with the love of God for all who suffer. Embrace your past hurts and let them shape you into a compassionate leader, a faithful friend, and a source of hope. When you do, your pain will not only prepare you for greatness, but also prepare you to uplift others toward their own victories. So let your pain be the seed from which empathy and compassion grow. Allow your wounds to be transformed into channels of healing and encouragement. In this way, your suffering will become a testimony of God's redeeming power and a beacon of hope for many. Chapter 6. Pain tests your obedience and commitment. Pain is not just a test of endurance. It is a test of your obedience and commitment to God's divine plan for your life. When hardship strikes, many people choose the easier path. They give up, turn away, or compromise their values. But the chosen ones are different. You are called to persevere, to remain steadfast, and to keep your eyes fixed on the purpose God has set before you, even when the pain is overwhelming. Pain challenges your obedience because it often asks you to continue trusting and following God's lead without visible evidence of breakthrough. It's easy to follow God when things are smooth and blessings flow freely, but true obedience is proven in the crucible of pain. When you choose to stay faithful despite unanswered prayers, disappointments, and delays, this unwavering obedience is what distinguishes the chosen from the discouraged. Your commitment is also tested through pain. The journey toward greatness is not a sprint. It's a marathon that requires consistent faithfulness even when the path is steep and the destination unclear. Pain forces you to ask yourself, am I willing to stay the course? Am I ready to endure the necessary trials to fulfill my calling? Each moment of perseverance through pain is an answer to that question, a declaration that you are committed to the purpose God has placed in your heart. This perseverance does more than just prove your readiness. It strengthens your spirit and builds spiritual maturity. Every time you choose obedience over rebellion, faith over fear, and commitment over quitting, your inner man grows stronger. You develop a deeper intimacy with God, learning to hear His voice more clearly and follow His guidance more faithfully. This growth prepares you to receive the fullness of what God has promised: blessings, favor, and responsibilities that require a mature and steadfast heart. Pain also reveals your true character. It strips away superficial motivations and exposes what you really believe. When you respond to pain with obedience and commitment, you demonstrate that your faith is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in the unchanging nature of God's promises. This kind of faith is powerful and effective, opening doors that were previously closed and attracting divine favor. Moreover, obedience in pain is a testimony to others. Your steadfastness encourages and inspires those who are watching your journey. It shows that it's possible to remain faithful through the darkest seasons and come out stronger on the other side. Your commitment becomes a light that guides others toward their own victories. Remember, pain is temporary, but obedience and commitment lay the foundation for eternal greatness. God honors those who remain faithful in the testing season by entrusting them with greater authority, responsibility, and blessing. The pain you endure now is a proving ground, one that confirms you are ready to carry the weight of your calling and fulfill the destiny God has designed specifically for you. So when pain comes, don't give up or turn away. Instead, let it test your obedience and commitment. Allow it to refine your faith, strengthen your spirit, and prepare you to step fully into the greatness that awaits. Your perseverance through pain is not in vain. It is the gateway to the abundant life and divine purpose God has promised. Chapter 7. Pain is temporary. Greatness is eternal. Chosen one, you must settle this truth deep in your spirit. What you are feeling right now is not forever. Pain may be loud in this moment, but it does not have the final word over your life. Pain is a season. Greatness is your destiny. The hurt you feel is passing through, but the purpose God placed inside you is anchored in eternity. Think about the seasons of the earth. Winter is cold, harsh, and often barren, yet it cannot cancel the coming of spring. In the same way, your season of pain cannot cancel the arrival of your breakthrough. The enemy may try to convince you that this valley is your permanent home. But God says otherwise. He has already appointed the day when your mourning will turn into dancing and your tears will be exchanged for joy. This is not your ending. It's part of your becoming. The truth is, pain is not just something you go through. It's something that goes through you, leaving behind strength, endurance, and wisdom. Every trial chisels away fear, pride, and doubt, leaving behind the refined version of you who is ready to handle the weight of greatness. Without these
refining fires, you would step into your calling too fragile to sustain it, but through them you will emerge unshakable. God never wastes pain. Not a single tear has fallen unnoticed. Not a single cry in the night has been ignored. Heaven records every moment, and each one is being woven into a tapestry that will display His glory through your life. The very battles you're fighting right now will one day become your testimony, the story that will set others free, the light that will lead them out of their own darkness. And here's something you must remember. The pain you feel today is proof of the transformation taking place inside you. Just as muscles grow through resistance and pressure, your spirit grows through the weight of trials. What feels like breaking is actually building. What feels like loss is setting the stage for gain. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And in due season, you will bloom. One day soon, you will see the purpose behind the pain. You'll realize the
nights of loneliness were teaching you to lean solely on God's presence. You'll understand that the rejection was God's redirection towards something far greater. You'll see that the delays were heaven's way of protecting you from stepping into a blessing before you were ready. Chosen one, do not despise this season. It is forging you into a vessel that can carry generational impact. Your future will not only bless you, it will bless your children, your children's children, and countless people you will never meet. There will be men and women who find hope because you refuse to quit. There will be destinies unlocked because you endured what others could not. So keep walking. Even if you have to limp, even if you have to crawl, every step forward is a declaration that your faith is stronger than your feelings. Every breath you take in the midst of pain is proof that the enemy did not win. The storm you're facing is temporary, but the crown God is preparing for you is eternal. Your pain has an expiration date, but your greatness does not. When the day comes, and it will come, you will step into a reality so beautiful, so purposeful, that you will look back and say, it was worth it. Every tear, every battle, every scar, it was worth it. Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. The timing, the words, the way you even came across this is not random. You are not like everyone else, and because of that, heaven communicates with you in ways that others might miss. There are signs, whispers, and confirmations that God sends specifically to His chosen ones, but they are hidden in plain sight, invisible to those who are not spiritually awake. If you've ever felt like God was speaking to you through events, encounters, or even in your spirit without using human words, it's because you're wired differently. Your eyes see differently, your spirit hears differently, and your heart responds differently. This is not superstition, it's divine alignment. In this message, we'll break down 7 powerful and life-changing signs that only the chosen recognize, so you'll never again second-guess when God is talking to you. Before we dive deeper, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because this message isn't just content. It's a direct signal from heaven sent to confirm what your spirit already knows. If your soul resonates with this, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a spiritual marker, a declaration that you are tuned in to the frequency of God's voice, ready to see what others overlook and prepared to receive the guidance meant only for the chosen. Not everyone will make it to the end. Only those truly called will, and those who stay will. Begin to see with new eyes, sharpen their spiritual discernment, and start recognizing the signs God has been sending them all along. This isn't something you hear once and forget. It's a living revelation that will continue to speak to you every time you revisit it. Each listen will uncover a new layer, a fresh confirmation, and a divine key you may have missed before. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Unexplainable Knowing. One of the most profound and unmistakable signs that God is actively guiding you through life is what I call the unexplainable knowing. This isn't a fleeting feeling or a simple hunch. It's a deep, powerful certainty that wells up inside you, often without any logical reason or external confirmation. It's a kind of spiritual GPS that works silently but precisely, steering you away from danger and toward divine appointments. Think about the times you felt certain about something, even when the facts seemed unclear or when everyone around you was telling you otherwise. Maybe you were about to accept a job offer that looked great on paper, but something in your spirit pulled you back. Or perhaps you met someone new, and while everything seemed fine, a subtle warning whispered inside that you needed to pause and reconsider. That inner voice, that firm knowing, is not just your imagination. It's the Holy Spirit guiding you in real time. This knowing defies logic and reason. It often comes as a quiet, persistent feeling, a pull toward or away from something that doesn't fit the usual patterns of thought. You might struggle to explain it to others because it transcends words and looks like intuition on the surface, but it's far deeper. It's a divine signal, a supernatural nudge placed in your soul to keep you aligned with God's perfect plan. Many people mistake this knowing for fear, anxiety, or overthinking. When you try to explain it, they might say, "You're just imagining things or you're being too cautious." But the chosen know the difference. They learn to distinguish between the voice of God and the noise of their own fears or doubts. This knowing is like an early warning system that often alerts you before trouble even appears. It's like a spiritual radar that can detect traps, false paths, or people who don't have your best interest at heart, all before anything happens on the outside. Sometimes this knowing shows up as peace that calms your soul even when the circumstances don't make sense. Other times it's discomfort that won't go away until you listen and make the right choice. The chosen don't ignore these feelings. They treat them like sacred instructions. They understand that obeying this inner guidance can mean the difference between breakthrough and breakdown, blessing and missed opportunity, life and destruction. What's even more powerful about this knowing is that it often precedes any external signs or confirmations. You might feel certain about a decision days, weeks, or even months before the evidence aligns. This is God preparing your heart and your mind before the physical reality catches up. It's His way of giving you a head start, a spiritual advantage that others don't have. But trusting this knowing isn't always easy. The natural mind wants to question, analyze, and look for proof. It wants to hear it from others or see a perfect alignment of circumstances before moving. However, the chosen learn that faith means acting on what you know deep inside. Even when the outside world is silent or opposed, the more you obey, That quiet certainty, the more it grows stronger, clearer, and impossible to ignore. This unexplainable knowing is a sacred gift, a direct communication channel between you and the divine. Chapter 2. Divine Repetition. One of the unmistakable ways God communicates with His chosen is through what I call divine repetition. When God wants to get a message through to you, He doesn't just whisper it once and leave you guessing. Instead, He uses a deliberate and consistent method, repeating the same message, symbol, number, or theme in different forms until your spirit can no longer ignore it. This repetition is not random or accidental. It's heaven's way of capturing your attention and confirming that what you're hearing or seeing is real and important. Have you ever noticed that when you're dealing with a spiritual or life challenge, a particular Bible verse seems to pop up everywhere? Maybe you hear it preached on Sunday, then read it in a devotional during the week, and then see it quoted on social media, or hear it woven into the lyrics of a song you listen to. This isn't a coincidence. It's God's way of making sure the truth is firmly planted in your heart and mind, guiding you through what you're facing. The same goes for numbers, words, or symbols. Some chosen ones experience seeing the same number sequences repeatedly. 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 7, 7, 7. Or 1212 on clocks, receipts, license plates, or random places throughout their day. Others find certain words or phrases showing up in books, conversations, or dreams. These repeated signs are heaven's visual language. They are divine markers designed to say, "Look closer. I'm speaking to you." This is a confirmation for the untrained eye. These repeated patterns can be dismissed as mere coincidence or randomness. But the chosen see through the veil of the natural world and recognize these as sacred signals from God. They understand that this repetition is a form of reinforcement, a way of making the message unmistakable and unshakable. It's God's spiritual echo bouncing back to you until your soul fully receives it. Divine repetition also serves to build faith and clarity. Sometimes you might not immediately understand what God is trying to say, but when the same message comes at you from multiple directions and in multiple forms, it breaks through confusion and doubt. It strengthens your confidence that God is in control and that He is actively speaking into your life. It's His way of removing any uncertainty and guiding you into alignment with His will. Moreover, this pattern of repetition is a way God invites you to meditate and reflect. Each time you encounter the message, you're encouraged to dig deeper, pray more earnestly, and watch for how it applies to your situation. The layers unfold gradually, and with every encounter, you gain new insight and revelation. It's a divine teaching method that prepares you for the next step in your journey. So whenever you notice the same verses, words, numbers, or themes appearing repeatedly in your life, don't brush it off. Stop and pay attention. Take it as a direct message from God meant for you. Ask the Holy Spirit to reveal its meaning and to help you apply it. This repetition is your divine password, a secret code unlocked only by the chosen who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Remember, divine repetition is more than just a sign. It's a spiritual lifeline. It's God's way of saying, "I am with you, I am guiding you, and I am preparing you for something greater." The next time you experience this, embrace it as a sacred moment of connection and confirmation. Chapter 3. Strange but timely encounters. One of the most remarkable signs that you are truly chosen is the way God orchestrates your encounters with people, often in the most unexpected and seemingly random ways. These are not ordinary meetings or mere coincidences. They are divine appointments carefully arranged by God to move you forward, confirm your path, or unlock the next chapter of your destiny. As a chosen one, God will place people in your life at exactly the right time. Sometimes it's someone you don't know, a complete stranger who steps into your life and says exactly what you've been praying for or provides an answer you've been seeking. You might be standing in a grocery store line waiting for a bus or attending a gathering, and suddenly this person crosses your path with a word, a look, or a gesture that resonates deeply with your spirit. It feels too precise, to be random. Other times, these encounters are with people who may not even realize their significance at that moment. They might just seem like everyday individuals, but God uses their presence to open doors that you couldn't open on your own. This could be a mentor who offers guidance, a friend who introduces you to a new opportunity, or even someone who challenges you in a way that forces you to grow. These encounters shift your trajectory, sometimes forever. What makes these meetings even more powerful is that you often won't understand their full meaning at first. You might dismiss them initially or wonder why they happened at all. But when you look back later, you'll realize how perfectly God orchestrated every detail to align with His purpose for your life. What seemed like a random interaction was actually a divine puzzle piece in your story. These encounters are not luck or chance. They are divine orchestration. Heaven is actively involved in arranging the steps of the chosen, sending people as messengers, helpers, or catalysts at the exact moment you need them. God's hand moves behind the scenes, arranging timing, locations, and even conversations to ensure that you receive what is meant for you. Sometimes the divine timing is so perfect that it leaves you in awe. You might have been praying for years for a breakthrough, and then one brief conversation or meeting suddenly unlocks the door you've been knocking on. Other times, the encounter challenges your faith, forcing you to step out of your comfort zone and trust God more deeply. The key for the chosen is to remain open and sensitive to these moments. Don't brush off a meeting simply because it seems insignificant or because you don't recognize the person. Pay attention to how you feel during and after the encounter. Ask God for clarity and discernment to understand why this person came into your life at this particular time. Also, be willing to act on the divine nudges that come through these encounters. Sometimes God sends a person to confirm your calling, to encourage you, or to give you a new assignment. But if you ignore the message, the opportunity may pass. The chosen learn to respond quickly, knowing that these timely meetings are gateways to their destiny. Chapter 4. Your spirit reacts differently than others. As a chosen one, your spirit operates on a different frequency, a heightened level of awareness that allows you to perceive things others simply cannot. This is not a matter of mood swings, personal preference, or oversensitivity. It's spiritual discernment, a divine gift that tunes your inner being to the frequency of heaven, enabling you to detect unseen realities in your environment long before they manifest outwardly. When you enter a room, a gathering, or even a simple social setting, you might instantly feel something that others completely miss. You might sense an unexplainable peace flowing through the atmosphere even though everything looks ordinary on the surface. Or conversely, you might feel an unsettling heaviness or unease where everyone else seems comfortable and unaware. This subtle but powerful reaction is your spirit discerning the presence of either divine favor or spiritual danger. This spiritual sensitivity is a hallmark of the chosen because God wants to protect you and guide you through the invisible battles and blessings of life. Your spirit is like a finely tuned antenna, picking up on signals from the spiritual realm that warn you to be cautious or encourage you to move forward. It's a supernatural awareness that shields you from harm, directs your steps, and positions you to receive God's best. Many times, God will pull you away from certain people, places, or events without immediately revealing why. You might feel a sudden urge to leave, a hesitation to join a particular group, or a strong internal prompt to say no to an opportunity that seems good on the surface. You won't always understand the reason at the moment, but God trusts you enough to ask you to obey the quiet pull of your spirit. This is because God is shielding you from what you cannot yet see. There could be spiritual attacks, hidden traps, or negative influences lurking that would derail your destiny or drain your anointing. Your spirit's discomfort is a warning light, an invisible line drawn to keep you safe. And even if you don't know why, trusting this internal guidance is a mark of faith and obedience that honors God's protection. On the other hand, your spirit also detects moments of divine favor. You might walk into a place or situation and immediately feel welcomed, energized, or uplifted in a way that goes beyond natural explanation. These moments are indicators that God is opening doors, sending help, or orchestrating blessings. Recognizing these positive spiritual signals is just as important as recognizing warnings. The challenge for the chosen is to learn how to distinguish these spiritual reactions from emotions, fears, or past experiences. It takes prayer, reflection, and growing intimacy with God to sharpen this discernment. Over time, as you respond correctly to your spirit's promptings, the voice of God will become clearer and more unmistakable. You'll move from uncertainty to confidence, knowing when to stay and when to step away. This spiritual sensitivity also means you may often feel isolated or misunderstood by those around you who do not operate on the same frequency. Others might dismiss your feelings or think you're overthinking, but remember, being chosen means walking a path that many cannot see or understand. Chapter 5. Unexpected. Delays that protect you. One of the most difficult signs to recognize while you're in the middle of it is what I call divine delay. As a chosen one, you may experience moments when your plans, dreams, or breakthroughs seem to be held back, postponed, or even canceled altogether. This delay can feel confusing, frustrating, or even disappointing, especially when you're praying, working hard, and expecting things to move forward quickly. But here's the truth that many overlook. This delay is not a denial, and it's definitely not punishment. It's divine protection. God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't align with your own. When you feel stuck or stalled, know that God is working behind the scenes to keep you safe, to prepare you, and to position you exactly where you need to be. He sees what you cannot, the potential dangers, the wrong alliances, the unforeseen consequences that would come if your plans moved forward prematurely. Imagine if you had accepted that job offer months ago that looked perfect on paper, but later would have brought you into a toxic environment, financial ruin, or spiritual compromise. Or think about that relationship you were eager to start that was actually a detour from God's intended path for you. The delay you experienced kept you away from harm and preserved your destiny. Your frustration in the moment is understandable. You want to move to grow to see the results of your efforts. But God's divine delay is a sign that He is actively guarding your steps. It's like a loving parent who gently holds back their child from running into the street, even though the child doesn't understand why at the time. This delay may feel like a pause or a setback, but it's actually a strategic retreat that keeps you intact for the greater battles and blessings ahead. Many chosen ones have testified that looking back, their delays became their greatest testimonies. What seemed like a loss or a missed opportunity turned out to be the exact thing that saved their lives, protected their reputation, or preserved their spirit. Divine delay often comes with unseen wisdom. It is the hand of God shielding you from storms you would not have survived, or detours that would have diverted you from your destiny. The key to navigating these delays is faith and patience. It requires trusting that God's timing is not only right, but best. It means resisting the temptation to force things to happen on your schedule, or to compare your progress with others. Instead, you are invited to rest in the knowledge that God's delay is never God's denial. Every postponement is a preparation. Use the waiting season to grow in your character, to deepen your relationship with God, and to sharpen your spiritual sensitivity. Prepare yourself for the moment when the delay ends and the doors open wide, because when God finally says, "Now everything will move swiftly and powerfully," and you'll see that the waiting was well worth it. Remember, your delay is your deliverance. It is God's way of saying, "Not yet. You're not ready, or the timing isn't right. Trust me to bring you through in my perfect time." Embrace the delays as divine pauses, sacred spaces where God is working on your behalf. Chapter 6. Supernatural peace in the middle of chaos. One of the most powerful signs that you are truly chosen is your ability to remain calm when everything around you is shaking. This is what the Bible describes as the peace that surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4:7. It's a peace that doesn't make sense to the human mind. A quiet, unshakable calm that stands firm even when life seems to be falling apart. For most people, peace is dependent on circumstances. When things are going well, they feel relaxed. When things go wrong, they panic. But for the chosen, peace is not tied to circumstances. It's anchored in God's presence. Even when your bills are unpaid, your relationships feel unstable, or your future looks uncertain, there's something deep within you that says it's going to be okay. This peace is not natural. It's supernatural. It doesn't come from positive thinking or pretending the problem isn't there. It comes from knowing that your life is in the hands of the one who never loses control. It's the quiet assurance that heaven already wrote the ending to your story, and that ending is victory. You're simply walking through the chapters with confidence, no matter how chaotic the plot looks in the moment. People may look at you in disbelief. They might wonder why you're not stressed like everyone else, why you're not lashing out, or why you're not losing sleep. They may even accuse you of not caring or being detached from reality. but you know the truth. It's not that you don't care, it's that you know who cares for you. You understand that panic never fixes problems, but God's presence can part seas, calm storms, and open doors in an instant. This peace is also a sign of spiritual maturity. It shows that your trust in God has reached a point where you no longer rely solely on what you can see. You've learned that chaos in the natural realm does not mean defeat in the spiritual realm. You've been through enough with God to know that He will always come through, even if the timing or the method surprises you. In fact, supernatural peace often acts as a shield in the middle of warfare. The enemy's strategy is to shake you so much that you lose focus and make desperate moves. But when you hold your peace, you're telling the enemy, "You can't move me. I know who my Father is." That calmness frustrates and confuses the forces working against you because they can't understand why you're not reacting in fear. This is why Jesus, in the middle of a raging storm, could sleep peacefully in the boat. Mark 4:35-41. He wasn't ignoring the danger. He was resting in the truth that the storm could not take him out before his mission was complete. As a chosen one, you carry that same assurance. Nothing can take you out before you fulfill your divine assignment. Supernatural peace doesn't mean you won't feel the pressure. It means you won't be controlled by it. It doesn't mean you never cry or feel the weight of your battles. It means that beneath it all there's a stillness in your soul that refuses to be moved. That stillness is the presence of God dwelling inside you, reminding you that He is your refuge and strength, your ever-present help in trouble. Chapter 7. Answers that come before the question. One of the most remarkable and humbling signs that you are truly chosen by God is when you experience answers that come before the question is even spoken. This is a divine phenomenon where God moves ahead of your prayers, your spoken requests, or even your conscious thoughts, and begins to orchestrate solutions before you've had a chance to voice your needs. Imagine a moment where a problem is weighing heavily on your heart, maybe a financial struggle, a relationship challenge, or a spiritual battle. And just as the thought forms in your mind, a door opens unexpectedly, a call comes through, or an opportunity presents itself. You haven't asked anyone for help yet, and sometimes you haven't even fully formulated the prayer. Yet God, in His infinite knowledge and love, has already anticipated your need and set things in motion to provide the answer. This supernatural timing is one of the clearest confirmations that you are not just seen by God, you are prioritized. You are so precious in His sight that He doesn't wait for you to call out in desperation. Instead, He proactively positions blessings, resources, and answers ahead of time because He understands your heart more deeply than you understand it yourself. This kind of preemptive response requires intimacy with God and a level of spiritual maturity that is not common. It is a sacred connection where God's Spirit and your spirit are so aligned that He anticipates your prayers like a loving father, knowing exactly what his child needs even before the child asks. This is the height of divine care and favor reserved for the chosen who walk closely with Him. There is also a spiritual principle at work here. God honors faith and preparedness. When you cultivate a heart that trusts Him fully, even in silence and waiting, He rewards that trust by moving ahead of your requests. He doesn't want you to struggle unnecessarily or live in anxiety. Instead, He delights in making the impossible possible and in opening doors you never knew existed. When you begin to see answers coming before your questions, recognize it as a sacred privilege. It's a sign that God is actively involved in every detail of your life. He is not distant or detached. He is hands-on and deeply invested in your breakthrough. Your life is on His radar in a way that sets you apart from the crowd. At the same time, these pre-answered prayers serve as an invitation to deepen your relationship with God. Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. This is not just a word of encouragement, it's a divine alert. Heaven is signaling that the time you've been waiting for is now, but it will not remain open forever. The instructions you've been receiving, the nudges you've been feeling, the dreams you've been having, they have all been pointing to a narrow window of divine opportunity. And God is saying, move now, because the window is closing. This is not a season for hesitation, doubt, or delay. It's a season for obedience, urgency, and faith in action. Let's break this down so you can fully understand the weight of this moment and why you cannot afford to miss it. Before we dive in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. because this isn't just another message, it's a divine alert for the chosen ones, and a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has been sowing, supporting, and standing with this ministry. God bless you richly. Your faithfulness, your prayers, and your presence have not gone unseen by heaven. To all of you who continually listen, align, and act, I'm deeply grateful. If your spirit resonates with what's about to be released, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a prophetic signal to the Most High that you're ready to step into what He's calling you to do, ready to obey the instruction, seize the opportunity, and walk boldly through the door that will not stay open forever. Not everyone will make it to the end of this message. Only those truly chosen will recognize the urgency. Those who stay will gain not just insight, but direction. Divine coordinates for the next move that could shift their entire destiny. This isn't something you hear once and set aside. This is a living word, a time-sensitive blueprint from heaven. Come back to it whenever your spirit leads you, because each time God will reveal another layer of instruction, confirmation, and timing. Let's dive into it. Chapter 1. Heaven's clock is ticking. God does not move according to human calendars, nor does He wait for our emotions to catch up before He acts. He moves according to His own divine timetable, precise, deliberate, and perfectly aligned with His kingdom agenda. And in every person's life, there are rare moments when heaven aligns circumstances, people, resources, and timing in such a way that one decision can shift everything. These moments are called divine windows. They are not random, they are not frequent, and they do not remain open indefinitely. When we study the scriptures, we see this pattern over and over. When God told Noah to build the ark, there was a clear time frame. The building took years, but once the rain came, the door was shut. No more warnings, no more opportunities. The chance to enter was over. Likewise, when the Israelites stood on the edge of the promised land, they were given a specific moment to cross the Jordan River. That was the season when God's presence went before them, when the waters would part, and when the giants would be driven out ahead of them. But when they delayed out of fear, they lost that moment. By the time they decided to move, God's timing had shifted, and what could have been an easy victory turned into a long wilderness delay. Chosen one, this is your crossing moment. That thing God has placed in your spirit, whether it's starting the vision, launching the ministry, making the move, or cutting the tie, the time is now. It's not next year. It's not when things calm down. It's not after I feel more prepared. The divine countdown has already begun, and heaven's clock will not pause for your hesitation. You must understand there are blessings, opportunities, and supernatural alignments that are untime sensitive. In the spirit realm, they are like ripe fruit that must be picked at the right moment. Wait too long and the fruit will fall to the ground and rot. Move too soon and it will not be ready. God's timing is perfect, but it requires your obedience in the present, not in the indefinite future. And make no mistake, the enemy knows the significance of this season for you. That's why right now, distractions feel heavier, unexpected problems appear, and doubt whispers louder than ever before. The opposition is a sign not of defeat but of proximity. The closer you get to your appointed moment, the harder the adversary fights to make you miss it. This is not a time for passive thinking. This is a time for active, decisive movement. Readiness will not fall on you like a sudden feeling. It is something you grow into as you take each obedient step. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, he did not wait until he felt like he could walk. He moved when Jesus said, "Come." The miracle met him mid-step, chosen one. The same is true for you now. The door God is holding open will not stay open forever. It was opened for this season, for this is instruction, and for this exact alignment. Heaven's clock is ticking, and with every passing moment, the opportunity becomes either your testimony or your regret. Step forward now, because the next chapter of your life will not begin when you wish. It will begin when you obey. Chapter 2. Delay is disobedience in this season. There are seasons in life when God's patience allows for waiting, when He gently guides and gives time to prepare. But this is not one of those seasons. Right now, hesitation is not just harmless waiting. It is dangerous, costly, and potentially catastrophic for your destiny. The voice of God calling you to move is clear and unmistakable. Every moment you linger, every second you hesitate, you are losing ground that can never be regained. Time is not your ally in this divine moment. It is your enemy if you choose delay. The enemy is fully aware of this truth. He knows that your breakthrough depends on your obedience, so he floods your mind with doubts, confusion, and fear. He plants seeds of what if and maybe not yet, and encourages you to demand one more sign or just a little more time. But chosen one, the truth is you have already been given everything you need to move forward. The vision has been clearly placed in your heart. The resources are being aligned and released. The green light has been given from heaven itself. The waiting game is over. In this sacred season, delay is more than procrastination. It is disobedience. When you ignore the call or push it aside, you are essentially closing the door on the blessings and opportunities God has carefully orchestrated for you. Worse, you are allowing the enemy to tighten his grip on what belongs to you. This is not just about your life alone. Your obedience or disobedience has ripple effects on the lives of many. The breakthrough you are waiting for is connected to the breakthrough someone else desperately needs. Your movement will unlock doors not only for you, but for those who are watching, praying, and waiting on your success. Understand this clearly. The delay that comes from fear, doubt, or overthinking is a spiritual trap. It steals your momentum and leaves you stuck in the familiar while God is calling you to the extraordinary. Every prophet, every leader, every great mover of God has had to learn this lesson. When God says move, you move immediately. Waiting for perfect conditions or the right moment is often just an excuse to avoid discomfort or risk. But your destiny requires boldness, faith, and swift obedience. So stand firm against the lies of delay. Reject the spirit of procrastination that wants to keep you stuck. Remember, divine timing and divine obedience are two sides of the same coin. You cannot claim to trust God's timing while resisting His command to act. Your willingness to step forward now is a declaration of faith that activates heaven's provision. Chosen one, your movement is the key that will unlock the next level of your life. Don't let delay steal what has been ordained for you. Move now. The window is closing, and what you do today will echo through eternity. Chapter 3. The signs you're in the window. There is a divine rhythm to God's timing. And when you step into a sacred window, the universe itself begins to respond in ways you cannot ignore. You will start to notice clear, unmistakable signs that signal the door is wide open and that you are meant to move forward. Now, these signs often come as patterns, repeating confirmations that align perfectly with the vision God has placed in your heart. One of the first signs is the sudden appearance of resources, whether financial provision, opportunities, or unexpected help from people you didn't anticipate. These blessings often come at just the right time, almost like divine appointments arranged by heaven to equip you for the next step. The people who show up during this window aren't coincidences either. They carry keys, connections, or counsel that align precisely with your purpose. You may also find that conversations around you begin to shift. Doors you once struggled to open now seem to unlock with ease, and discussions with mentors, friends, or even strangers start pointing you toward your next move. These conversations often carry wisdom, encouragement, or prophetic insight that resonate deeply with your spirit. Pay attention, because these are heaven's way of giving you a green light. Dreams and visions become more vivid and recurring during this time. What once felt like random images or fleeting thoughts now hold clarity and urgency. They repeat themselves in cycles, revealing hidden truths, divine instructions, or warnings about the path ahead. Your spirit feels an unexplainable pull, a sacred urgency that you cannot shake, no matter how much you try to ignore it. This inner prompting is God's way of aligning your heart with His timing. At the same time, you will notice old doors closing quickly and decisively, almost as if you are being gently but firmly pushed forward. These closures might feel uncomfortable or confusing, but they are necessary to clear the path ahead. God is removing distractions, delays, and dead ends so you can move unhindered into your divine assignment. The speed at which these old seasons end can be startling, and it's a clear indicator that the window won't remain open for long. Even in your prayer life, you will experience this pressure. God's voice will become sharper, more focused, and more insistent on a specific action or direction. This is not the time for vague requests or passive waiting. The clarity in your spirit combined with the urgency you feel in prayer is a divine call to step boldly forward. All these signs together, resources arriving, strategic conversations, vivid dreams, inner urgency, rapid closures, and prayerful clarity are heavenly markers. They confirm without a doubt that the window is open, the path is clear, and the timing is now. Just as the tide on the shore rises only for a season before retreating, this divine window is temporary. If you sense this acceleration and alignment in your life, understand that this is your moment. The moment to act is not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Delay could mean missing this sacred opportunity. The signs you see and the feelings you experience are God's way of saying, move swiftly, move decisively, and move in faith. Your future depends on it. Chapter 4. Fear is the enemy's final trap. As you approach the edge of your breakthrough, you will notice one powerful force trying to stop you in your tracks. Fear. Fear is the enemy's final and most cunning trap designed specifically to paralyze you at the exact moment when action is most crucial. It will whisper doubts in your ear, telling you that you're not ready, that you might fail, or that it's safer to wait for the perfect moment, a moment that in reality does not exist outside of God's perfect timing. Chosen one, understand this clearly. Fear is a liar. It will present itself as caution, wisdom, or protection. But in truth, it's a strategy to steal your destiny. Fear wants you to believe that standing still is safer than stepping forward. It wants you to believe that hesitation will keep you secure when in fact hesitation will cause you to miss the divine window that heaven has opened just for you. The enemy knows he cannot shut the window of opportunity God has set in motion. So instead, he employs a different tactic. He wants you to freeze, to become immobilized by fear until the window closes quietly on its own. This is a subtle and cruel trap because it doesn't come as a loud attack, but as a silent thief in your heart and mind. It disguises itself as caution, but ultimately brings loss. But here is the truth. You must hold tightly. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is obedience in the presence of fear. It means moving forward, even when your heart races. Even when your mind screams to retreat, even when your soul feels small, it is stepping through the fear, not waiting for the fear to disappear. Every step you take in faith, no matter how small or shaky, breaks the enemy's hold on your mind and spirit. Each move forward weakens the grip of fear and strengthens your spiritual authority. This authority isn't something you earn on your own. It is a mantle given by God to those who choose obedience over hesitation. Remember the giants in your path, the doubts in your mind, and the anxiety in your heart all lose power when you act despite them. Faith is a weapon that cuts through fear's lies. When you rise in faith, you declare to the enemy that you will not be stopped, no matter how loud fear screams. Chosen one, this is your moment to stand firm and say, Fear, you do not control me. I am moving forward because God has called me to this place. My breakthrough is worth the risk. The window is open. The time is now. And the only thing standing between you and your destiny is the choice to walk through fear and into your purpose. Don't wait for fear to disappear. Move forward in faith and watch how God turns your trembling steps into a triumphant march. Chapter 4. Fear is the enemy's final trap. As you draw closer to your breakthrough, the enemy will unleash his most dangerous weapon against you. Fear. Fear is not just a feeling. It is a carefully crafted trap designed to stop you dead in your tracks right before the victory you've been striving for. This fear will not always come as an obvious threat. Often it appears as subtle doubts, nagging insecurities, or that quiet voice in your mind urging you to wait, be cautious, or hold back. It will tell you that you are not ready, that you might fail, or that it's safer to delay until the perfect moment, a perfect moment that does not exist outside of God's divine timing. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Fear is the enemy's weapon of distraction and deception. It will masquerade as wisdom and prudence, convincing you that standing still is the safest choice. But make no mistake, fear's true aim is to keep you trapped in hesitation, to cause you to miss the exact window that heaven has opened just for you. It wants you to believe that the risk is too great when in reality, the risk lies in not moving at all. The enemy knows he cannot shut the window. God has opened for your life. His only hope is that you will become paralyzed by fear. So the window closes without you stepping through it. This is a cruel and silent trap because it doesn't come with a loud battle cry. It creeps in softly disguised as protection and careful planning, convincing you to delay until the opportunity fades away like a fading sunset. But here is the unshakable truth you must cling to. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in obedience even when fear is screaming inside you. It is taking the step when your hands are trembling, your heart is pounding, and your mind is flooded with questions. Courage means acting despite your doubts because you trust that God's purpose for you outweighs the fear of the unknown. Every step you take forward in faith is a direct assault on the enemy's power. Each move weakens fear's grip and strengthens your spiritual authority. This authority is not earned by human effort, but is a divine mantle given to those who choose obedience over hesitation. When you walk in faith, you become a force that shifts atmospheres, changes destinies, and opens doors that were once sealed shut. Fear may scream loudly, but your faith must roar louder. The giants on your path, the doubts clouding your mind, and the anxiety gripping your soul all lose their power when you decide to act in faith. Faith is the sword that cuts through fear's lies, and courage is the shield that protects your heart from its attacks. Chosen one, this is your defining moment. Stand firm and declare, "Fear, you will not control me. I am moving forward because God has called me to this place. I will not let hesitation steal my breakthrough." The window is open now, but it won't remain open forever. The opportunity waiting for you will not wait indefinitely. Don't wait for fear to vanish. That moment may never come. Instead, step forward with trembling hands but unwavering trust. Move forward knowing that God's timing is perfect and that every step you take is guided by His divine hand. As you do, you will watch fear lose its power and your destiny unfold in ways you never imagined possible. Remember, faith and obedience are your weapons, and courage is your armor. The battle for your breakthrough is not won by the absence of fear, but by the decision to move forward in spite of it. Choose to walk boldly through the fear, and you will find that what once threatened to stop you now propels you into your destiny. Chapter 5. Movement activates the miracle. God rarely reveals the entire plan before asking you to take that first step. It's not His way to hand you the complete blueprint all at once. Instead, He gives you just enough light and clarity to take the very next step forward. This requires deep faith. Faith that the path will unfold as you walk it, that the unseen will become seen, and that the provision you need will come at the exact moment you need it. Think about the story of Moses and the Red Sea. The sea didn't part the moment. Moses prayed. It only opened when he obeyed and stretched out his hand over the waters. The miracle was activated by his movement, not by hesitation or waiting for perfect conditions. Similarly, the walls of Jericho did not collapse because of wishful thinking or distant hope. They fell after the Israelites followed God's specific instructions to march around the city for 7 days. Their obedience, even when it seemed slow, strange, or illogical, was the key that unlocked the supernatural breakthrough. Peter didn't walk on water by staying safely in the boat. He had to step out in faith, risking everything. Only when he took that bold step did the impossible become reality beneath his feet. Chosen one, your miracle works in the exact same way. Waiting for every detail to be perfectly clear before you take action is a delay you simply cannot afford. God is calling you to move with the light and revelation you already possess, trusting that He will continue to reveal the path step by step. This partial revelation requires a surrender of control and a bold trust that God will guide you through every uncertainty, every obstacle, and every shadow along the way. Procrastination, hesitation, and second-guessing are the enemies of miracles. They give the enemy extra time to regroup, to sow doubt in your heart, and to steal your breakthrough before it even arrives. The longer you hesitate, the greater the risk of missing the divine window that God has specifically opened for you. On the other hand, action, even if it feels imperfect or uncertain, invites miracles into your life. When you choose to move forward, God meets you right on the road. He provides resources you never expected, opens doors you thought were closed, brings divine connections, and orchestrates encounters that can only happen when you are in motion. Your obedience to move activates supernatural acceleration. Doors that were once sealed shut will suddenly swing wide open. Your steps will become ordered in ways that defy human logic and explanation. Favor, wisdom, and divine strategy will manifest precisely when you need them most. This is a timeless spiritual principle. Movement activates the miracle and stagnation delays your destiny. You may feel unprepared, uncertain, or even afraid. You may wrestle with questions like, "What if I fail?" or "What if I'm not ready?" But remember this, God's call is not for perfection. It's for obedience. Sometimes the full miracle only reveals itself after you've taken the first step, after you move forward in faith. Despite fear, uncertainty, and discomfort, your willingness to move even when the future looks unclear is what invites heaven to come alongside you and partner with you in your breakthrough. Don't wait for every detail to be fully clear or for every doubt to disappear. Stop holding yourself back with excuses or fear-based thinking. Take the next step boldly, knowing that God's power is released the moment you act in obedience. The breakthrough, promotion, or divine encounter you've been longing for is not far off. It's waiting just beyond the threshold of your next move. Chapter 6. Others are tied to your yes. Your obedience is never just about you. It's a divine key that unlocks blessings, breakthroughs, and destinies for countless others. When God instructs you to move, He is positioning you to be a channel of hope, provision, and transformation far beyond what you can see or imagine. The decision you make today can ripple through generations, impacting lives you may never meet face to face. Think about your business idea that's been lingering in your heart. What if it's not only your path to success, but the source of employment and stability for someone struggling to support their family? The ministry you feel called to launch might be the very answer to the prayers of a broken person desperately searching for healing and peace. Your voice, your writing, your creativity, these are not just talents or hobbies. They are lifelines meant to inspire, uplift, and guide others through their darkest moments. Every step of obedience you take sends out waves of blessing that reach far beyond your immediate circle. When you hesitate or delay, you are not only holding back your own destiny, but also causing a domino effect of stalled breakthroughs for those who depend on you. Imagine how many people's lives are waiting on the doors you are meant to open. Your no or your delay can unintentionally create barriers for those waiting on their own miracles. Heaven knows the intricate web of connections between your journey and the journeys of others. Your obedience is part of a greater divine plan, a tapestry woven by God where every thread matters. This is kingdom work. Work that transcends personal gain and touches the eternal. You are not just walking your path alone. You are carrying the hopes, prayers, and futures of many with your yes. This is why the urgency you feel right now is real and necessary. God wants you to realize that your movement is a lifeline for others. Your breakthrough is their breakthrough. Your yes releases doors, resources, and favor that will cascade blessings to people who need it desperately. Whether it's providing for a family, mentoring a lost soul, or simply inspiring someone to keep going, your obedience is the spark that ignites a chain reaction of divine provision. Do not underestimate the weight of this calling. Your yes is powerful. It breaks chains, restores hope, and shifts atmospheres. Your yes changes lives and reshapes futures. When God calls you to move, He is calling you to become a beacon in a world that desperately needs light. The battles you face are not just your own. They are spiritual warfare for the sake of many. So when fear, doubt, or hesitation creep in, remember who you carry within you and who depends on your obedience. Your courage today can set free those bound tomorrow. Your willingness to walk in faith will unleash blessings that echo through eternity. You are a vital part of God's plan, and your yes matters more than you know. Step forward boldly and confidently.